Hi, welcome to my channel. I hope you're well. As you may have noticed, I use classes in my tutorials, but I've never done a video specifically about classes. That's what I'm going to do in this video. I want to keep this video short, so I thought I would pick one small topic to discuss, namely the difference between instance and class variables. Class variables are like global variables in the sense that they are available to all the instances of a class. This means that if a class variable is changed in one instance of the class, that variable is changed in all instances of the class. An instance variable, as the name would suggest, is only changed in the instance in which that change was made. I'm going to demonstrate this by setting up a simple class called car. Car only has tires and wheels. The purpose of this class is to keep track of the number of cars I have. Let's first look at instance variables. Let's implement number of cars as an instance variable. First, we create a car class. The important variable here is number of cars. As you can see, I'm initializing everything to 0. Next, let's write the class method addCar. Unsurprisingly, it takes two arguments, tires and seats. After we assign these values, we increment number of cars. Finally, we write a method that will print out the content of the class, including the number of cars. That's it. Our class has been set up. Now we need to create a number of object variables from the class. In this case, I thought I would create two variables, Ford and Porsche. By the way, all this code is up in my GitHub repo. Now, let's run the program. As you can see, after we create a Ford, number of cars is set to 1, and that's correct. But then when we create a second object variable and add a car, the new object variable doesn't know about any other variable and so still displays the number of cars as 1. Class variables. Now let's change class car and make number of cars a class variable. First, I declare the variable number of cars as a class attribute by moving the declaration above the initialization method and below the class declaration. I remove number of cars from init or dunder init and change self to car in the addCar method and in printCar. Now, let's run the program. As you can see, when we add Porsche, the number of cars contains the value 2. And that's the way it should be. Another way of keeping track of the number of cars we have. We could also create a cars class and use that class to both create new cars and to keep track of the number of cars created. First, let's create the car class again. This time we pass in 3 values to the constructor: name, number of tires, and number of seats. Then we add a method that will print out the information in this class. Next, let's make another class. This one we call cars, plural. And as you can guess from the name, we will use this class to control the car class. Let's start out by writing a constructor to initialize our instance-wide variables. Notice that I've added a current variable. Ignore this for now. I'll do something with it in a moment. Now let's write a method that will allow us to add a car to our class. When we do this, we append the car to the list cars. Finally, we write a method that will print information about all the cars in class cars, as well as how many cars have been added. Create an object variable. We will create an instance of cars, and then use that instance to add 2 cars, a Ford and a Porsche, and our Porsche will have only 2 seats. Now, let's print everything. The number of cars is 2, and that's what it should be. That's it for class and instance variables. Now I want to show you another way to add cars to a class and keep track of them. I use this particular construction quite a lot. Dunder methods, length, iter, and next. Here's another way of finding out how many cars I have. Sure, I could create a class method that would return the number of cars, but it would be great if I could just use the built-in function len. If I do that though, there's a problem. You see, I get the type error. Object of type cars has no length. But we can fix this by implementing the double underscore method or dunder method for length. In this case, it's quite easy. There we go. Now the program correctly prints out, you own 2 cars. Now we've already written a method to print out all the cars, but let's say we don't want to write a method. Let's say we would like to use a for loop. As you can see, this doesn't work. There is a type error. Cars object is not iterable. Let's fix that. Dunder iter is straightforward. We simply return self. But we are only half done because we also need to implement dunder next. Recall that previously we declared current in the constructor of class cars. We use it now to extract a particular car from class cars. If that doesn't work, and it won't if the index is out of range, then we set current to 0 and stop iteration. If the index isn't out of range, then we increment current and return the item we have retrieved. Now let's run the program again. As you can see, it now prints out the content of cars correctly. That's it. Thank you for watching. If you've gotten something from this video, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. In the meantime, good coding.